more than your fathers. So it's part of the law, and God's promising to bring him back. The question is, how does he get all the people of Jerusalem back, right? You think, so I think it's just a lot of hate around the world that drives him back. But I haven't, you find little tidbits, but I'm not going to touch that. Let's go to Zechariah 10:10. This is one example. In verse 9 in my Bible, it says the dispersion and regathering of Israel, right above verse 9 in my Bible. And I'm going to just drop to 10. I will also bring them from the land of Egypt and gather them from Assyria, and I'll bring them into the land of Gilead and Lebanon until there are no more room is found for them. Zechariah 10:10. Yep. So he bring in people from Egypt and Assyria to a place in Lebanon and Gilead, which is right next to southern Lebanon. I don't have a map. So here's Lebanon, here's southern Lebanon, and Gilead is around Golan Heights area. And so these are Jews coming from two areas where the dispersion went, and he's bringing these two groups to this area. And I was going, I thought God's bringing them back to the land, Israel, but it is part of the promise. But it's interesting. Let's go to Ezekiel 20:38. See if you argue with me or not. But 20 verse 20, Ezekiel 20:37 and 38. I will make you pass under the rod, and I will bring you under the bond of the covenant. When you're bringing this idea of sheep coming into the herd, he's going, you're allowed in the sheepfold, you are not, right? But when you're doing that with sheep, are you coming in here with a hatchet and knocking their head off and say, nope? But that's the idea of when you go into further context. But it's where I popped up a thing on Bible thing, right? Is that it? Oh, that one. They usually count as counting or examining the flock to ensure its health and separate the faithful from the unfaithful. And that's a thing from AI, which is interesting. This one. And there's a rod, and he was under the hand, he shall surely be heard the flock, even though I'm passing around, holy, holy. There's under the rod, there's 3 verses. Stay in the verse you're at. One's in Exodus 21:20, and it says, if a man smite his servant or his maid with a rod and he die under his hand, he shall surely be punished. That's one. Leviticus 27:32, concerning the tithe of the herd or of the flock, even of whatever passeth under the rod, the 10th shall be holy unto the Lord. And then you have Ezekiel 20:37, you pass under the rod, under the bond of the covenant, which is, you don't see no death there. He's counting it. He's a tithe. It's kind of interesting. And then he goes into 28 or 38. Ezekiel 20:38. I will purge the rebels from among you, those who transgress against me. I will bring them out of the country where they dwell, but they shall not enter the land of Israel. Then you will know that I am the Lord. I never read that. And I'm going through that and I go, you have this verse and he's pulling them and he takes them right outside of Israel. He gathers them within the promised area, but not in Israel. Who would have thought that? Because present tense Israel, it's in Lebanon, it's in Jordan, where these places going. But am I reading something there? Do you see that?
Where are we at?
Ezekiel 20:38. They shall not enter the land of Israel. But we have a promise that he's drawing them to Israel. See that? In Deuteronomy, it says he will bring them back to the land. But a distinction is
Ezekiel 38.
but it's not like saying the Jews in Israel are any better. He's just saying this group he's bringing to destruction. So we have Romans 11. Let's go to Romans 11. We all know this verse, but where is it? Right there. Verse 25. For I do not desire, brethren, that you should be ignorant of this mystery, that you should be wise in your own opinion, that blindness in part has happened to Israel until the fullness of the Gentiles has come in. And so Israel will be saved as it is written. So is the fullness of the Gentiles is when they get judged? Is that the judgment?
Oh, you asked him.
Yeah. Sorry.
I think it's when the full number of it comes, when he actually has all that he wants, all that he's planned for.
The Gentiles for the end of the tribulation that they're saved.
Yeah.
So the ones that going into the kingdom. Okay. So okay. So at the end of the tribulation, the seventh, when he comes and sets down, I'd say that's the fullness of the Gentiles of the tribulation. When he comes and judges the nations, all the ones that are saved, that going into the kingdom is already saved. So that doesn't go with that, but it has that blindness part when they are saved. The Jews don't, the blindness doesn't taken off till he comes and starts defending them. And then you have a lot of the you shall know that I am the Lord statements. Is in Ezekiel. Is that? Let me look here. Is it in 20? Yeah. So in the bottom of 20:38, it says, but they shall not enter the land, then you shall know that I am the Lord. That's one spot, but there's a lot of spots in the Testament where every time he does something, they go, that's God. That's kind of like a sign. Have I read my Bible? Wow. And so I have some of these, but I had to take some out because I had them connected to the wrong Jerusalem. So, let's see. Let's go. We did that. Let's go to Psalms 2:5.
What is that? Jews who say?
Jews who survive, huh?
You need to write a little bigger.
Yeah, you should know that by now, old man.
I can still see that size.
Okay, Jews what?
Jews who survived the Great Tribulation.
Okay.
So some of them aren't not. So we're looking at that. Psalms 2:5. Where are we? Guys. Silence that interrupts me. So 2:5. Then he shall speak to them in his wrath and distress them in his deep pleasure. Verse 6. Yet I have set my king on my holy hill of Zion. I will declare the decree. And the Lord said to me, you are my son. Today I have begotten you. Verse 8. Ask of me, and I will give you the nations of your inheritance, and the end of the earth for your possession. Verse 9. You shall break them with a rod of iron. You shall dash them pieces with a potter's vessel. So, another place where it's different than the other three locations with the rod. So, where are we? Let's go to Amos 9:10.
Amos what?
Amos 9:10. I can't find it. I know where it is. Joel, Amos saying it. Yeah.
Well, that last passage, the rod is being used to bring the Gentiles into line. Nations, it said.
Yeah, it is on that verse. Yes. As the Ezekiel 20 is talking about the Jews.
Right.
Amos 9:10. All the sinners of my people shall die of the sword, who say the destruction shall not overtake nor confront us. So this is a small little, it's 9:1, it says it's the final prophecy of dispersion. So the ones that don't believe, there's more into it, and some of it I'm still working through, but all of them will die. And you go, well, who's all? It doesn't tell you all.
My people.
All the people that don't believe of my people.
Right.
Yeah.
All the sinners, so it'd be Jews as opposed to Gentiles.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and yeah. So let's go to Zechariah 13.
Right.
Yeah.
Just read the next verses, you can see that that's in connection with exactly what you're saying there, because he's talking about raising up, repairing the tabernacle of David.
Okay.
And James quotes that in Acts 15 as a future event yet to come.
Okay.
So yeah, it's just saying it fits your timeline here.
Zechariah 13.
Really testing has been. I know. Getting out of practice and like.
There's 13 verse 8 and 9. And it shall come to pass in all the land, says the Lord, that 2/3 in it shall be cut off and die, but 1/3 shall be left in it. They shall bring 1/3 through the fire, will refine them as silver is refined, and test them as gold is tested. So this is not, it's rough. I think like in Matthew 24 verse 30, where all the nations mourn, everyone is mourning. And this is
when it says all Israel will be saved, that'll be after 2/3 of them are killed.
Yeah. And today's population of the Jews is, I wrote right here, in Jerusalem is approximately about 1 million. I'm rounding. So, and then in the world, AI says there's 15 million Jews, however they figure that out. So figure 2/3, only 5 million survive if it happened today. Kind of just on a numbers thing.
Is 1 million in Jerusalem?
There-
or
1 million in Jerusalem,
Israel?
1 million in Jerusalem, 15 million in the world.
So I'm just wondering what the difference between Jerusalem and Israel is.
You can AI it, it will pop you. I just was, because when you're bringing in the whole world, how does God count? They could be missing people that God counts more into Jews. You don't know how God's doing that. That's just a man's giving numbers. Um, let's go to Isaiah 4. These are one of those rabbit trails I went on. So Isaiah 4:1. And in that day, 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, I will eat our own food and wear your own apparel. Only let us call you by your name to take away our reproach. This is right between, I think this is right after God judged all the nations, and they're looking around and going, all the men are dead. So I think in the context it's about Jerusalem in verse 3, living in Jerusalem. So when you're talking, you have the Bible verse with Genesis when God he didn't bring 7 women to Adam, he brought 1, right? So is God unfaithful to all these women after they're all dead? Well, let's do a little thing on the flock. Let's go to Ezekiel. Oh my God, that's 24. 24, 34.
Feel what?
Ezekiel what?
34, verse 6.
There is no Ezekiel 34.
Yeah, there is.
Yes, there's.
Oh, we got to get you better glasses.
34. You in the right book?
You in Ezra?
She is.
Ezra?
Okay. Go back. Go back. Ezekiel has 40. Ezekiel what?
You're going to have to get. We're going to have to give you contacts and glasses like my sister. Okay. My sheep wandered through all the mountains and on every high hill. Yes, my flock was scattered over the whole face of the earth, and no one was seeking or searching for them. And then it's in verse 7. Therefore, the shepherds hear the word of the Lord. They weren't taking care of the flock, were they? Verse 12. As a shepherd seeks out his flock on the day, he is among his scattered sheep. So I'll seek out my sheep and deliver them from all the places where they were scattered on a cloud and dark day. And then verse 31. You are my flock, the flock of my pasture. You are men, and I am your God, saith the Lord God. So, is it when it's talking about men, are they talking about the women too? Because he scattered yes. So, you have this where they're scattered. Let's go to John 10:16.
It's interesting because even though there's scattered, it said he's still taking care of.
Yeah,
Oh, scattered.
John.
Yeah.
See, at first when I was thinking it was the 144,000 that went out to the earth, but I had problems, so 1016. Uh, 1016, and other sheep I have which are not of this fold, them also I must bring, and they will bring and hear my voice, and they will be one flock and one shepherd. Let's go to 27. My sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they will follow me. So the sheep, what? They listen to his voice. Okay, let's go to Matthew.
This is a different.
They're talking different flocks, but it's the idea, both are, this is pre-grace. Let's go to Matthew 24.
Flock.
15. Therefore, when you see the abomination of desolation spoken by the prophet, standing at the holy place, whoever reads, let him understand. Then let those who are in Judea flee to the mountains. Let them who is on the housetop not go to take anything out of the house. Let him who is in the field not go back to get his clothes. But woe to those who are pregnant and those who are nursing babies of those days. And I pray that your flight may not be in the winter or in Sabbath. Are this the group? Possibly. I'm just for the ones that are Jerusalem's wiped out, seven women to one man. Is this the group? I don't know, but it could be. You hear when God, they see that desolation, God says, run, right? Who's only people that are getting in God's word would know, man, we better run. Because what, and you're talking, I don't know who that is because what is it? You have, see, another question that comes up with is Romans 11. They don't get the blindness ain't taken off till the 3.5 years later. So it's kind of, maybe they're religious and not saved, but they know to run. Possibly. You know, I don't know. You know, it's,
Yeah, just a minute. This is when when this happens, people in Judea are to flee to the mountains. And then it's gonna become, the New Jerusalem is going to come down according to verse 27.
yeah, but you're talking 3 years before this happens. This is happening.
Oh, you're referring back to.
The desolation of is at the 3.5 part mark. 3.5, in the middle of the Great Trib. The temple doesn't come back till the 7th year.
Oh, so there's a separation.
Yes.
That's what you're saying.
Yes. And the group that runs to the mountains.
15 and 27, you're saying there's a separation of time.
Yes. You didn't know that before?
I mean, never thought about it.
Okay. So that's who I think it is. And I don't know how many men, but there's more men there than, because a lot of women survive 7-1 in Jerusalem, or is it in the land of Israel, which is when you're looking at the Great Trib, the death is the math. I want to work on the math of it, because when God says he kills a third of the people at the first seal, you go, that's third, and then another one that goes, I'm killing this much, I'm killing. You got to do the math and go, percentage gone. You understand? Yeah, how many? It's mind-boggling. And you could just do right now, how many would be left out of 8 billion people? When you talk about what is it? A third of the people right now, that'd be 3 billion people in just the first seal. You know, so it's just interesting. I'm just, okay. Where at we? Huh? Yeah, let's go to Revelation. Yes. That's another place. It's another place for Matthew 24, but Revelation 12:14. But the woman who was given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness of her place, where she will be nourished for a time and a time and a half a time from the presence of the serpent. So the serpent poured forth water out of the mouth like a flood after the woman, that might cause her to be carried away by the flood. But the earth helped the woman, and the earth opened its mouth and swallowed up the flood which the dragon had spewed out of his mouth. And the dragon was enraged, and the woman, and he went forth making war with the rest of her offspring, who kept the commandments of God and have testimony of Jesus Christ. Who is that in verse 17? You guys know?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the 144,000. And huh? Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're sealed at the midpoint. I don't know if it's right before the 3.5 year midpoint or right at the same time. Could be either. I'm not gonna, if someone says it happens a year before, it's right before. Because we'll go look at. Well, we'll come back to that. Why do the Jews have to go through this? We're just really short. We're condensing this. Why are the Jews going through this in the Great Trib? Well, it's part of their promise. And people want to be a part of this promise, I want Jewish promises too. You don't want to go through this. We're just looking at very small stuff. But let's go to Daniel 12. Oh. Daniel 12 is the resurrection chapter for the Jews. We're going to focus on verse 11 through 13 right now. Daniel 12, 11 through 13. Is my head in the way? Yeah, it is. I wrote it too low. Maybe both.
Young and I said.
First turn backwards.
Yeah, the orange doesn't help the way.
Than all of you guys, and I can read it.
Yeah.
Someone needs new glasses, maybe. You all got glasses. Verse 11. And from that time, the daily sacrifice is taken away, and the abomination of desolation is set up, and there shall be 1,290 days. Always have the 1,260 days. Something happens 30 days after God comes down. And it's blessed is he who waits and comes to the 1,335 days. But you go your way till the end, and you shall rest and arise, your inheritance at the end of the days. This is talking about them getting their eternal life right here.
Doesn't that happen at the millennium, right at the millenniums?
Well, it's happening after the so many days after, but it's between the sheep and goat judgment. Or is this the sheep and goat judgment? I don't know. I'm not. the time frames is,
I've got the after Daniel's 70th week, that'd be the 3.5 years. 30 days later, the Old Testament saints are resurrected, and 95 days later, the kingdom begins.
there's a lot of stuff happening in there, and I'm trying to,
Probably that includes the judgment of sheep and goats.
yeah, and I think that would be dealing with when he deals with Israel and he's killing a lot of them, because that's part of the sheep and goats, isn't it? When he comes. Yeah. So there's you get a little picture and then you kind of conjecture a little bit unless you give me some more verses. It's hard to do. It's really hard to do. Well, safely. Let's go to Ezekiel 34.
Then what does that say about Ezekiel 34?
Well, safely.
Well, safely.
That's Ezekiel 34. $34, 27.
Yes,
Okay,
hold on. Ezekiel 34.
yeah. Then the trees of the field shall yield their fruit, and the earth shall yield their increase. They shall be safe in their land, and they shall know that I'm the Lord. I have broken the bands of their yoke, and delivered them from the hands of those who enslave them. They shall no longer be prey to the nations, nor shall beasts of the land devour them, but they shall dwell safely, and no one shall make them afraid. I will raise them up for a garden of renown, and they shall no longer be consumed with hunger in the land, nor bear the shame of the Gentiles any more. Thus they shall know that I am the Lord their God. I am with them. That verse, they shall know that I'm the Lord their God. It's every time this happens, God did something and it's usually a judgment, but it's something so spectacular. They're going, wow, that only God could have done that. Only God. Because the first time he uses this statement is when they came out of Egypt and they got to know so this is
This part sounds like the millennial kingdom, though. Is that what you're saying?
they're going into the millennial kingdom.
Yeah.
Yes. This, after all this, you get down to through, they got their eternal life. Now they're dwelling in safety and going in the millennial kingdom. Yes. So that's showing that this is a promise. We got time, so we are going to hit, because this is very small, the 144,000. They're Jews during the same time, but there's something different. So I put them in the group, but outside the group. And we'll talk about that. Let's go to Revelation 4.
So when you say during this.
Yes.
Clarification, you mean during the Great Tribulation, right?
Great Tribulation. No.
Throughout the whole 7?
Yes. I don't. We'll hit the verses. So Revelation 7.
You said 7 or 4?
7:4.
Oh.
Oh, well, let's go to verse 3. Verse 3 first. Saying, do not harm the earth, the sea, nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our God on their foreheads. When does God do this? When does he harm the earth, the sea, or the trees?
Tribulation.
Hmm?
The tribulation.
Yeah, but what part?
Oh, the Great Tribulation.
We don't know.
We don't know. So
We don't
I'll give
know.
you the verse. It's in let's go to Revelation 8, one page over. Verse 7. 8:1 is the midpoint, right? 8:1 is one of the places where you show midpoint. Yeah, 8:1 is talking about the heaven where there's war up in heaven, and the first time ever it's silence for so long. Verse 8, the first angel sounded, and hail and fire followed, mingling with blood, and they were thrown to the earth, and a third of the trees were burned up, and all the green grass was burnt up. Yeah, verse 7. So the 144,000 are not sealed till 8:1, 7, somewhere. It could have been in, but it happens before 8:1 or the first trumpet. So where that happens, you could argue with me anywhere. It could have been in the first seal, but it doesn't tell you that. It just says before this. So
Oh, you mean that the 144,000 are sealed,
sealed, yes, so they can't die.
but the first trumpet is after.
Well, the first trumpet is at the midpoint. So it's the great 3.5 years where God's Satan's wrath is coming down, and that's why he seals the guys. He seals the 144,000.
Chapter 7 and verse 1 is talking about them getting sealed. Or simplicity.
Where are you?
Chapter 7, Revelation 7, isn't that talking about the 144,000?
7:1. That's more of a heaven. Oh yeah, I'm working there. And I heard the number of those who were sealed, 144,000. All the tribes of Israel, of children of Israel were sealed. Tribe of Judah, the tribe of Reuben, tribe of Gad, tribe of Asher, all 12,000. Tribe of Naphtali, tribe of Manasseh, I can't say it, Simon, Levi, Issachar, Zebulun, Joseph, and Benjamin. That I don't know what the significance of that. There's multiple areas and they're all different, and I have a question and I don't know.
Well, there's only 11 tribes there, so 2 are left out.
No, there's 12 tribes there.
Oh, it's 144,000.
12 tribes by 12,000 is 144, Mom.
I guess.
I only count 11.
Well, you're miscounting.
They don't name Dan, they don't mind.
I got
They
12.
don't mind Dan.
Yeah, but there's 12.
Yeah, Boone's the last one.
There's 12. 12 times 12,000 is 144,000.
Yeah.
There are tribes missing. Yes, they do this all over the place. When
Okay.
they have the 12 tribes around the Ezekiel temple, they're different names. They're different names here. There's different names when they're around the temple, the tabernacle, different names, because Levi was the priest, not allowed. Dan did something wrong, but I don't know. Every location, I don't understand it all. So, where am I at? Let's go to Ezekiel or Revelation 14. Fourteen, 1-5. Yeah. Then I looked, and behold, a lamb standing on the Mount of Zion, and with him 140,000 standing with his father.
144,000.
Yeah. Having his father's name written on their foreheads. So here, what's on their foreheads? The father's name. Write that down. That father's name, we will come back to that later. Remember this, it'll probably be next week. Or because. And I heard a voice from heaven, like the voice of many waters. This voice of many waters, you push in voice of many waters, Satan has the voice of many waters. God has the voice of many waters. So I don't know what
just means it's a very loud name. It's like listening to the roar of the ocean.
Yeah, I know, but it's kind of, you have it with the beast.
Yeah,
And-
verse 3 is.
Yeah, and when you if you want to do it, it's like, is Satan being a copycat? And he is a copycat, so something yeah. Many waters, and the voice of loud thunder, and I heard the sound of harpists playing their harps. So they're up in heaven, and they sang as they were a new song before the throne, before the four living creatures and the elders. And no one could learn the song except the 144,000 who were redeemed from the earth. They couldn't learn it. I don't understand what they're saying there, but okay. Um, there are the ones who were not defiled with women, for they are virgins. They are the ones who followed the Lamb wherever he goes. They were redeemed from among men, being firstfruits to God and the Lamb. And their mouth was found no deceit, for they were without fault before the throne of God. Here they are called firstfruits. What is that? I thought we were firstfruits. Question. Any idea what's that about?
Maybe the first fruits of the tribulation. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm putting it out there so we can talk about it later.
Said first fruits from Israel.
Israel,
Tribulation.
right,
Yeah, but when we get to this is going to be your teaser here. We have the first fruits, Father's name on their head. We will be getting to that. It may be a month away from now. That's a teaser coming up. And I'm not quite sure, but that's a teaser. That's one of those things that you go, what is that? So, so you go, let's go to Matthew 25. We're going to have to, we just got 2 verses, so. Matthew 25. Oh, where are we at? 35 through 40. Now it goes to verse 34. Then the king will say to you on the right hand, come, you who bless of the Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. For I was hungry, and you gave me food. I was thirsty, and you gave me drink. I was a stranger, and you took me in. I was naked, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you visited me. I was in prison, and you came to me. Then the righteous answered him and saying, Lord, when did we see you hungry and feed you, or thirsty and you gave you drink? When did we see you a stranger and take you in, or naked and clothe you? Or when did we see you sick or in prison and come to you? And the king answered and said to them, assuredly I say to you, inasmuch as you did it to one of these least of these of my brethren, talking of the 144, you did it to me. Then he goes to depart. So this is a combination of the beheaded tribulational saints. If it's all of them, it doesn't tell you if all of them died. You hear what I'm saying? At least those, but don't know if it's people that did it and didn't die. Don't tell you that on that part. It's kind of open-ended for us. It doesn't say one way or another. So, oh boy. Let's go to
It's used out of context so much.
huh?
That verse, that collection of verses is used out of context.
Yes,
so much.
it is. It is. They like to do that. So let's feed all the hungry now. Where God says, if you don't work, you don't eat now. 24, let's go to Matthew 24. 24, 14. So the gospel of the kingdom will be preached to all the world at the witness of the nations, and then the end will come. At verse 14, he says that they're given the gospel. Is this when they get sealed? Because the next verse is the abomination. You see that? In verse 15. But you have the 144,000 going out. So do they start at the 3.5 mark and they gospelize all the world in 3.5 years with tongues? I think it's tongues. God has given them the gift of tongues during this time, and it's speed trap. Did God leave the 140? Did he collect everyone to Jerusalem and then release them, or did he leave them, those 144,000 out in the world? Don't know. Doesn't tell us. It's always those questions. How is God doing this? When you talk about 3.5 years, and during that 3.5 years, there's stuff going on. How's transportation? You don't know. At verse, you have islands, and in chapter 6 of Revelation 6, you have the first earthquake, and islands move, but they don't sink yet. They move. Can you imagine going, I'm going to go out to Hawaii and no island? Those places, how is God? That's questions you don't know. It's kind of, how is God doing it? God's going to do it. It's just 140. Or is it, a lot of them are out on a paddle boat and going out there? Don't know. Maybe the planes are still going and they fly in. No clue.
We do have an example in Acts where Peter is sort of moved to a place. It is across oceans, but he's moved.
Yeah, that's true.
Philip, yeah.
Yeah. You have the examples. God can do anything he wants. 21,
What book?
Luke 21:18. So let's no. We'll start in verse 12. But before all these things, they will lay their hands on you, will lay down and persecuting, delivering you up to the synagogues and prisons. They will be brought before kings and rulers for my name's sake. Will turn out as occasion of testimony, therefore settle it in your hearts, not to meditate beforehand on what will you answer. I believe this is kingdom stuff. For I will give you a mouth and wisdom which all your adversaries will not be able to contradict or resist. You will be betrayed even by your parents, brothers, relatives, friends, and they will put some of you to death. And you will be hated by all your namesakes. That's one place where you'll be hated by all your namesakes. Why I think that's what drives people to Israel, but there's nothing saying. So you hear that. But not a hair of your head shall be lost. That's talking about the 144,000. By your patience possess your souls. By your patience. That's weird. So that's another verse on that.
You're thinking that verse is pertaining to the 144,000.
Yeah, and the people.
Which verse?
Luke 21:12 through 19.
What gives you the indication that he's talking about the 144,000 opposed to other people in Israel?
Because the 144,000 are sealed in another location. They're sealed in Revelation 7. And
so what does the sealing mean? That they won't be killed?
They won't be killed.
But this says
that there will be killed. Those are the Gentiles that are being proselyted to, that bring clothing and water and food to that you have the other Matthew passage.
Oh, so you're thinking that the people here being killed are the Gentiles that help the 144,000, but there's nothing definitive that I
No,
can
but it's
see.
just a little tidbit, and you gotta put it with the other one. So, and then you have the thing. You're talking people that are just got saved, and he's saying, "Don't worry about it. I'll give you what to speak." So when they're for some reason in their trial, or they must give them a time to speak before they cut their head off or whatever. It's more of that. I don't know. Me and Tim were talking about the two witnesses, and you have this too, and they get stuff is happening.
In verse 12, it says they're gonna be delivered to the synagogues. Well, there would be no reason to bring a Gentile to the synagogue, so it must be Jewish people that they're bringing to the synagogue.
I don't know. Sometimes it could be just that verse. I don't know. And maybe it's a mix of one part and mix of another. You've seen that where it's yeah. So some of it might not be for us or them, but I think some of it definitely is for them, because when they're going to get their heads cut off, they get saved, and all of a sudden they have a thing going, "That guy saved me. I'm taking him food. He's been being tortured," and they go in and they get their head cut off. Next person going, "I gotta go still do that. What the heck are you doing?" You wouldn't think you go, "I don't want my head cut off," but they keep coming in, bringing you food. You know, how many people are killed just feeding them every day? One every day.
And then in verse 21, it reiterates the verse about Judea fleeing to the mountains.
Yeah. So
That whole thing.
Leave them also.
I really think this is what you need to do.
no. Okay, the part of the 144,000, I will give you a little tidbit. Let's go to Daniel 12:3. We'll give you a tidbit, so then we'll close. For those who are wise shall shine like the brightness of the firmament, and those who turn many to righteousness like the stars forever and ever. It's kind of this little verse, it connects to two different groups, and the 144,000 is one of these. Their promise is not on earth. They are promised that they will be up in heaven doing stuff. We will look at more. So, I have more written down up above when they're up in heaven. So, just a little tidbit. So, Dad, can you close?